Hey everybody, and I guess you're wondering what in the world I'm talking about by the title of this video. Make money without any talent. And with Modo, you don't need talent to make money. Now of course, you're going to make more money if you have talent, and you're going to get more work if you have talent, but it isn't necessarily absolutely necessary with Modo. Maybe you have a client that says, hey, I need a 3D living room. I need a living room, something fast and cheap. And you can do stuff like this in Modo without really having to know too much about what you're doing. So let's go ahead and show you what I mean by this. First thing I want to do is lay down a square. Okay, so here's our cube. Let's go to our polygon mode, and let's delete the top and two sides. Okay? Like so. Now, what we want to do is we're going to want to flip these polygons around. Let me get rid of that one little vert there that's hung. That I deleted those sides and it left the vert hanging. So now you can see we got these three sides. So let's hit the F key to flip those around. Okay, now we got our inside of our room. Let's hit our R key and let's scale it out a little bit. Like so. Okay, now we got this place here that we're going to start building our room. The first thing we can do is go to Center Selected, All, just to make sure everything is centered, and it looks as if it is. So now let's go to our Layout tab, because this is where we're going to be doing most of our work. We're not going to model anything. Okay, so let's go down here to our Meshes tab, and let's select our little pop-up here, and let's select, let's see, Interior, and under Interior there'll be a Furniture folder. Double click your Furniture folder and we'll see chairs, sofas, tables. Let's open up our sofas and let's go ahead and put a sofa in our scene. Okay? We want to line our sofa up with our ground floor. So let's go to polygon mode. I'm going to select that ground floor. Then I'm going to grab my sofa, put it about where I want it, and boom. Now you'll see that, whoa, the sofa's way too big. So what we need to do is select our cube, and we need to scale it up. Like so. Now I can go in and pick my sofa, and we can adjust it into position. Hit the E key to rotate it. I'm going to rotate it around like this to where it's the longest part is up against the wall. Okay, zoom in here. And we're going to set this about where we want it. That's looking pretty good there. Now we can kind of scale down our room if we want to. There we go. Okay, now we have our sofa laid in here, and as you'll see, as you notice, we didn't model anything. Okay. So now let's add a few more items to our scene. Let's go back, and let's go under tables and chairs, or just tables, I'm sorry. And we're going to add us a table to our scene. And I'm going to drag this black coffee table right here. And I want to twist it around. Like so. Okay, now we have us our black coffee table. Not necessarily black when we render it, but it's black in our scene. Okay, there we go. There, that's a little bit too close. Now there's a couple tables you can use to go in your living room. If you notice here, we have a wood coffee table and a nice cherry looking coffee table. Okay. So now that we got that, let's go to a few more things. Let's try to add a chair. Let's go to our chairs, and I want to add an artsy type chair. Let's grab this chair design number 2. I'm going to throw it in right there. There we go. Let's pull this a little bit forward. Now we got us a chair in our scene. Okay. Now we can add a few more things. Let's go back to sofas and let's add a couple ottomans. So I'm going to take our ottoman number 1, take it over here, and boom, put it right there next to the wall. I think I'm going to use 2 of them. I want to put 2 of them in there, right next to each other. Like so. Okay. Now we can do a few more things. Add a few more things. We can try our decorative accessories. We can have a vase put in there. Let's put a vase in there, want to? Let's take our vase and put it back here in the corner. And let's scale that sucker up. And position it. Okay, now we got our little vase laid in there. So let's go ahead and add a couple more things. Let's see here. I want to add a rug under the floor section. So let's go ahead and select our polygon that we want it to lay on top of. Select our rug, and let's put our rug under there. Let's rotate it around. Let's just put it into position. Okay, we could make our rug a little crooked. You know, give it a little stylistic look if you wanted to. Instead of making it square and flat. Let's go take our chair now, and I'm going to rotate it around a little bit more. Bring it forward some. Okay. I think so far we're doing okay. Okay. I guess we could make our rug just a tad bigger. Like so. Probably we could even stand to do it more than that. Like so. Yeah, okay, now we have that added. We have our little ottomans over here. Let's go ahead and add a couple more things. Let's go ahead and say electronic devices. And we're going to add in a TV. So let's select our floor. And boom. Now we have us a TV in there. So I'm going to turn this TV around. And we're going to position it about like that. Okay. Now let's go ahead and go over here and let's just see what we've got in our scene. We have a directional light. Let's delete that directional light. Okay, now we have no directional light. Let's go to our shader tree, select our render tab, go go to global illuminations and turn on global illuminations. It'll give us a nice soft feel. Okay, so now before we go anywhere else, I want to scale down my room a little bit. So I'm going to take my vase and I'm going to take my ottomans and I'm going to move them over a little. Like so. Now let's grab this wall of our cube and pull it in too, just to make our room a little bit smaller. There we go. Okay, now we have this cool little setup now. Let's go ahead and add a new item, and we're going to add a directional light. Or an area light. I'm sorry, let's add an area light. Okay, let's back off. And let's hit our W key so we can find out where our area light is, and there it is. So I'm going to put this area light into position here. Let's make sure lights are visible. Hit the O key, go to your visibility tab and say show lights. That way we can see our light. Let's pull it down here. Like so. Let's turn the intensity down a little bit. Like so. That way it looks like our TV is shining a little bit there. Let's go to our shader tree, turn down our area light, select our material, and let's select our color, and I'm going to make it a little orangey. That way it looks like the TV is kind of shining on there. So let's select our light. Let's adjust it a little bit more. Okay, now you see it looks like we got our TV shining there. Okay. Let's go to our render tab here. Now before we get too far into setting this up, what I want to do is give it an environment. So let's go over here and select our environments. And let's go to our studio environment. And it don't really matter what environment you use. Let's just select this soft tint. Like so. Zoom out here. Now you can see here we got us a nice little room. You can use any kind of environment that you want. This here is the overhead spotlight, which needs a lot of adjusting. Then we have our Lightbox Studio, and you really just need to go for the look that you're looking for. It really is up to you, because there's so many different environments that is included in Modo. It just depends on the look that you're going for, I guess, so to speak. Let's rotate our light around, facing the couch. And let's bring it back a little closer. I want to get that nice atmospheric glow. Now, of course, you can go in and you can add more lights to your scene if you wanted to. You see, I just added a directional light to my scene there. And it is right there, so let's back it off. Don't want to make it quite so bright. Let's turn down our radiant. And let's turn up our samples to from 64 to maybe 512. Okay. So far, so good. I'm going to take my anti-aliasing up to 32 samples. You don't need to do 32, you can do 16. And turn that light down a little more just to give it a little bit more atmosphere. And you can change your lights from area lights to directional lights. Just change it to an area light. You can see that gives it a whole lot more ambient feel. Okay? So let's zoom in here. So now you can see what I'm going about. What I'm looking at here, and you can see we haven't modeled a single thing, and we have us a nice atmospheric living room that I'm not going to go in and adjust our render settings to take care of a lot of these blotchiness and stuff. We can do that in other videos. This was just to show you how you can make money with Modo and not spend and not know a thing about 3D modeling, because the presets in this thing are just so robust and so well designed and thought out that, man, I tell you what, you really don't even need to know how to model to get things done. So let's do some final tweaks here. Like so. Okay, now let me go ahead and show you what I had set up beforehand. Put a little bit more effort into it, a little bit more work. I adjusted things. I've made my floor glossy black. I've put some items on top of the table. Okay. And I've upped my settings and stuff so where these walls and stuff are a little bit smoother. And let's take a render. And we'll see the final result, and we'll call it quits. And there we go. There's our little scene. Now I was going to render out both of them for you real quick. So there's the first one I did. So let's go ahead and render out our second one we put together. Okay, so let's go ahead and render that out. Let's let it go in and do our radiance pre-pass right here. Okay, there's going to be 4 pre-passes. 2. There's the 3rd pre-pass. There's the 4th pre-pass for computing the radiance. And now it's going to start rendering, and we'll be right back. And there we go. You can see we got a little bit of a glow on our rug there. Now, if you want to, as I said, you can go in here and let's get rid of this. Let's select our cube and let's select polygon mode. Select that bottom polygon. Let's go to our materials and let's do high gloss plastic. Let's do black. Now, as you can see, that gives us a nice black reflective floor for our scene. Now, how you want to make this is totally up to you. If you want to make it a little darker and a little more, give it a little more ambient feel, then you can turn off some of your lights. It's completely and utterly up to you. Now, a couple more things you can do also, if you want to give it that more of an ambient feel, you can give it a ceiling. And this will darken down the room a little bit, as you can see, and we're going to get more of an ambient glow from our TV. Now, of course, the more sides you give it, the more ambient it's going to become, because it's going to get darker and darker and darker. And if you give it too many sides, you know, you're going to block out your light altogether. Let me turn down this one side here. Now I can adjust the ambience of this room by pulling up and down on this wall. You can see how nice and dark and ambient it is, and the only glow we're getting is from that TV. But if I up this wall so I can let in a little bit more light, you can see there that it's not as dark. Let's give it a little halfway in between there. I don't want to make it too dark, but I don't want to make it too light either. Now you might want to go in and give your table a material even. Maybe give it also a black plastic look. Let's go pick our polygon mode. Let's give our high gloss cream color to our table there. Let's turn our samples up a little bit here to our light. Okay, I think everything looks good enough to show you guys a test render. Okay, now, through the magic of editing, I went ahead and made an ambient version. As you can see, the lights are turned way down. We're getting a nice glow from our TV, a nice orange glow. We got a nice soft shadow from our couch here. And this is really, really nice. You see over here by the ottoman on the wall, there's just a slight little glow, and all this, it's just wonderful. Look what you can do in Modo and not have to know how to use a modeling app. You don't have to know dynamics. You don't have to know animation. You don't even have to know about rendering. All you do is go in, set up your presets, turn on your global illuminations, and you're pretty much ready to go. Modo is amazing for the artist who does product shots, especially artists who do product shots. Modo cannot be beat. So don't forget, now we have this live preview here. Okay, you can go in here and you can see this. You can try different angles, camera angles, if you want to see it from what it's going to look like from the side here. You can spin your camera around to the side here. Now we got a totally different angle altogether, but we can see the front of our TV, and that's no good because we have to put something on our TV if we're going to see the front of it because it's glowing. Okay, so we can come back around this way, check it out from maybe this angle. Okay, and the same thing holds true for our model view here. You can go to your model view. You can see I'm in my model view here. Okay, I got my walls and everything. There's my setup and my TV. But there's several things that... Let's go to our preview here. Now, we got our live preview render right here in our model view. And it's full size. Okay? And you can see we're looking at it from a different angle now. We can see our nice shadows on our wall. Of course, if we did a complete render, the fuzziness would be gone, and if we sit here and wait long enough, the fuzziness will render itself out of this preview. You can see the cores up here on my machine are maxed. So this is takes very, very good advantage of your system cores. And not only that, but, I mean, we could bring up let's see here. let's bring up our camera view. Okay, now we have this. Let's also bring up our 3D view. And now we have our normal 3D view here. We have our camera view, which is viewing through the camera, and this is the one I go in, and if I adjust this camera, the camera moves around in my live preview, you see. Now over here is my model view. If I just want to go in and check out my model view, of course you can make these bigger. So now you can see I have my model view here. I can put this over here on a second screen. I have my camera view. I can set this on a separate screen, and now I can use this big full-size screen here in front of me to check out my live render preview. And there we go. That's how great and easy Modo is to set up a scene or a product shot. You can't beat it, guys. Just as a side note, you don't have to use the big screen, your big layout here for a preview. You can open up a little free floating preview window and leave this the way it is. That way you can see as you can model in the big view and see your preview view as you work. Okay, and if you want to change this to the camera view, you can, and that changes it, and when I move this around, it's going to move my preview around. Okay, so there you go. Some great tools for setting up some shots in Modo and making money without having any talent. As you can see, we didn't have any talent, and we made a dang nice looking room. One more thing I wanted to demonstrate real quick. If you notice, instead of adding an area light, you can also add a lighted polygon. I went in and selected the polygon on the front face of my TV, and I just made it a lighted polygon. So now it looks like that TV shining from the back. So let me show you a final rendered version here. And as you can see, it's got a nice ambient look, some nice soft shadows. Looks like our TV's glowing really nice. And this is just how you make money with Modo, and you don't even need any talent. So I really appreciate you guys watching, and I hope you tune in for the next one. See you then.